Chapter 15. A Lurking Figure. Without mentioning Mrs. Weems' name, Penny spoke of her meeting with Miss Harmon and revealed all that had transpired at Melvin O'Sandra's establishment. She was pleased to observe that her father appeared impressed by her story. "You never should have gone to such a place," he scolded. "Since you did, I'm glad you used your eyes. Penny, your information may be valuable to the police. I suppose they're welcome to it, Dad, only I hate to get Miss Harmon into trouble. Melvin O'Sandra is rather bogged down in misery right now, too." "One's sympathy should never be permitted to interfere with justice," said Mr. Parker. He rose and searched for his hat. "Are you on your way to the police station now?" "Yes. I'll turn this note over to them. Then they may do as they please about O'Sandra." After her father departed, Penny was left alone, for Mrs. Weems had gone to the home of a neighbor. The hour was early, the streets not yet dark. Feeling the need of companionship, she walked over to the Seidel house, but Louise and her parents were not there. Penny wandered aimlessly towards the outskirts of Riverview, enjoying the pleasant evening air. She drew near the marble doll shop and observed that a light was burning in the rear room. This did not surprise her, for she knew that Nellie lived in the shop, cooking her meals and sleeping there to save house rent. "I'd drop in and see her if she hadn't been so unfriendly," Penny thought. She walked a few steps past the shop only to pause. Nellie hadn't meant to be rude, she convinced herself. Perhaps the girl had a sound reason back of her strange actions. Rather than take an offended attitude, might it not be better to try to talk with Nellie again, encouraging her to discuss the mysterious witch doll? Impulsively, Penny retraced her steps and knocked on the door of the shop. She waited several minutes, and when there was no answer, started to turn away. Just then she heard footsteps. The door was cautiously opened. "Well, what do you want here at this hour?" asked Mrs. Farmer. "I came to see Nellie." The door opened wider. "So it's you again," the old woman exclaimed, peering at her. "Nellie isn't here, as you well know. You are responsible for getting her to run away." "I don't know what you mean," gasped Penny. "Nellie isn't working for you anymore?" "Don't pretend that you don't know about it," the old woman accused. "You came here and talked her into leaving me." "Pardon me for contradicting you, Mrs. Farmer. I did not influence Nellie in any way. She skipped out late yesterday without talking or taking any of her things. Told me she was on her way to do an errand. The little snipe never came back, but when I lay my hands on her—" "After all, Nellie had a perfect right to leave your employment, didn't she?" asked Penny. "I fear you failed to make her work attractive." Miss Farmer's eyes snapped like brands of fire. She was very angry. "I'll get her back, and when I do—" "Slavery went out of vogue directly after the Civil War," said Penny. "I don't blame Nellie for leaving you. I'd do the same myself." "Oh, you would," snarled the old woman, fairly beside herself with rage. "Let me tell you something, young lady. Don't you ever come around here again." With deliberate and cruel design, she slammed the screen door so that it caught Penny's hand. As the girl cried out in pain, she laughed gleefully and retreated into the dark depths of the shop. "Why, that old cat!" Penny muttered, nursing her injured fingers. "It's a good thing I have a forgiving disposition, or I might heave a rock through her plate glass window." Ordinarily, she was not a person to cherish bitter feelings, but never in her life had she met such a disagreeable character as old Mrs. Farmer. Nellie had good reason to run away, she thought. She must have been actually afraid of that old woman, or she would have told her she intended to leave the shop. Penny soon forgot her childish desire to get even with Mrs. Farmer, and the next day even laughed about the incident as she reported it to Louise. "Why, I never heard of such a mean thing to do," Louise cried sympathetically. "I shall tell all my friends never to buy another doll at that shop." "Speaking of dolls, Lou, you seen Jeannie lately?" "No, I was hoping You might like to run out there today. We could take a picnic lunch with us and make an outing of it." "Sounds interesting," Penny agreed instantly. "Only, how will we get there? The Leaping Lena's gas tank is bone dry. The last time I siphoned some out of Dad's car, he was fit to be tied." "Penny, you haven't spent all your allowance again." "I'm down to 28 cents. Oh, Sandra took $2 away from me." "Maybe I could borrow our car," Louise said hopefully. "I'll run home and see. You might start making sandwiches." In a few minutes she telephoned to say that her mother had agreed they might use the Seidel auto for their picnic. Penny sent to work packing a hamper with good things to eat. Mrs. Weems, learning of the girls' destination, insisted upon adding an extra pie and a large cake for the Schlosser family. Louise, laden with heavy baskets of her own, drove up to the door shortly after 11 o'clock. "We have enough food for a dozen persons," she laughed when she saw Penny's contribution. "We'll give anything we have left to the Schlosser family." "Why not take Jeannie with us on the picnic?" proposed Penny. "She doesn't have many outings." "Yes, she'd love it." They found the little girl playing in the yard of the Schlosser cottage. She ran for her mother, a thin, tired-looking woman who came out to thank the girls for their gifts. "We have had such a hard time," she said, tears in her eyes. "However, I was saying only this morning that since Jeannie met you, our luck seems to have changed. My husband is straightening up. He brings his money home now instead of squandering it at Sandra's wretched place." "I'm glad to hear that," Penny said with a perfectly straight face. She did not reveal her own bargain with the medium. Mrs. Schlosser agreed that Jeannie might go with the girls for a picnic luncheon. She declined the invitation herself, saying that she had a big washing to get out on the line. "Do you know of a nice spot, Jeannie?" Louise asked the little girl. "Oh, yes, there's a really pretty place down by the river." "Then you lead the way, Jeannie." Soon they had the luncheon cloth spread out in a pleasant sight along the riverbank. The little girl had never eaten olives, nor had tasted potato chips and various other articles of food which Penny and Louise accepted as picnic necessities. It did them good to see how heartily the child ate. After the dishes had been cleared away, Penny and Louise took Jeannie for a walk through the woods and helped her gather a bouquet of wild flowers to carry home. Coming to a long curling grapevine which hung from a tall tree, Penny declared that it would make a wonderful swing. She caught a firm hold and with a little run and a jump floated out into the space, singing gaily, "Like the man on the flying trapeze, I sail through the air with the greatest of ease." "Oh, let me try it," Jeannie pleaded, clapping her hands in delight. "All right," laughed Penny, jumping lightly to the ground. "Hold fast and I'll give you a big push." She sent the child flying high into the air. Jeannie screamed with pleasure. "Now you swing with me, Penny," she cried. "The grapevine might break with both of you," Louise warned. "Oh, it's big and tough," Penny laughed. "Anyway, we won't have far to fall." She started to take her place beside Jeannie, but suddenly seemed to change her mind. She was staring towards the river. The smile had left her face. "What's the matter?" demanded Jeannie. "Don't you want to swing any more?" Penny did not answer the question. Instead, she said to Louise in a tense undertone, "Look over towards those bushes to the right. Someone is spying on us." Do, 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 do.